Okay, so like we were saying, this 10-10-10 quiz should have been a way for you to check in and evaluate how things were going with what you know about the stuff that we need to know for Rome. Do me a favor, scoot your computer over so I can walk past. Okay, thank you. So just as a reminder, this is our last kind of day working with these grapes, with these learning goals. Okay, so our learning goals where I can explain the significance of the physical geography to the development of classical civilizations. The way we're showing that, what you have to do is provide evidence of the importance of land, water, climate, resources to the growth of Greece and Rome. Our other was I can recall terminology specific to classical geography. For that, you can remember and find vocabulary that's specific to Greece and Rome geography. So this quiz, and I'm seeing lots of people not paying attention, which again, people are not as good at multitasking as we think that we are, but this is not a conversation I'm going to keep having with us. So we need to make sure we are focused in on what we need to be focused in. I will give you time to work, okay? So here's what the rest of today is going to look like, just so we know and understand where we're going. Remember, you've got your proficiency chart, right? On your proficiency chart, in order to do approaching, you have to know where the Italian peninsula is. You should be able to do that by now. You should know where the 3 fertile plains are. You should know where the Apennines Mountains are. You should know where the Tiber River is. You should know where the Mediterranean is. You should know where the Alps are. You should know where all of those things are. We did that with Google Maps and with our paper maps. You've seen it on 5 different maps, okay? You also need to be able to know what natural forces are, things like storms, things like natural disasters, and how those things affect Greece and Rome. We've already learned how they affect Greece. You will learn how they affect Rome with what we are doing today when we talk about Pompeii, okay? And you might already know some about that. That's really great. So for approaching, you have to know all of those vocab words. You should be able to self-check and see how well you are knowing that stuff, okay? You need to be able to list examples of the physical geography of Greece and Rome. That means from memory, you should be able to know, like, oh, the Apennine Mountains are in Rome, not Greece. Oh, the Peloponnesus is in Greece, not Rome. Oh, the Ionian Sea is between the 2 of them. Okay, so all the vocab words from this sheet and all the vocab words that we learned from Greece, you've got to know where they are. You should know where what that stuff is pretty well. Most of us, if you know the stuff on this, you should probably be able to check off list examples of physical geography in Greece and Rome. Okay? Identify examples of how geography affected settlement in Greece and Rome. We know that with Greece, they could only live in certain places. We have learned where people can live in Rome. We've learned the effect of these 3 fertile plains on Rome. You should be able to check off, identify examples of how geography affected settlement in Greece and Rome. Okay? Today, you are going to learn about how to identify the effects of natural force in Rome, because we're going to learn about Mount Vesuvius and Pompeii. Once you have learned that, once you've finished that, you really should be approaching the standard, because you should have all the vocabulary words known. You should know how to identify the effects of natural force, identify examples of how geography affected where people lived, and list examples of the geography. So you should, at this point in class, you should honestly be approaching, okay? If we look at proficient, I can explain how geographical features influence settlement and development of ancient Greece and Rome. You should be able to do that, right? You know how the climate, you know how all those things help them. You will be able to summarize how Rome reacted or responded to Mount Vesuvius. So honestly, by the end of today, you should be at proficient. Okay? So if you are not at proficient by the end of today, you need to make sure you're going back and kind of reviewing so that you can get where you need to be. Because you will get everything, by the end of class today, you'll have everything you need to know to be proficient. Okay? So here's what you are going to work on. There is an ed puzzle called Surviving Pompeii. Normally when we do ed puzzles, you know, we've kind of done them where we watch them together. This one, there's not notes that I really have to explain. This one is just you kind of watch it and do it. So we're going to work on this independently. We will be able to work on it either in the neighborhood or in class. Remember, if we are working with the lights on blue, In class is a quiet zone. It is a no talking zone. It is a low sensory zone, right? Lights are off, lights are blue, it's quiet. You're not in here working with other people. If you want to work with other people, take that to the neighborhood. Remember our expectations for the neighborhood. Since there's a couple other classes in there, you really need to make sure you're focused on getting your work done and not getting distracted. If it winds up being too loud for you to work in the neighborhood, you can come back in here, but remember, in here is a quiet area. We need to respect that. Any questions on what we're doing for the next 15 to 20 minutes? Cool. Once you finish that, you need to make sure, like I said, that Google My Map is ready to go because we will be turning that in. Okay, if there are not any questions, you can go ahead and start working on that Ed puzzle.